Hey, come sit with me a minute. Yeah, right there. That's good. You've got that look again. The one that says the world has been a bit much today. And honestly, fair. Because the world lately has been doing this thing where it wakes up every morning and chooses chaos. Bills, news, work, emails, notifications, deadlines. Everything moving too fast and costing too much, and somehow you're expected to keep up with all of it while also drinking enough water and remembering where you put your keys. Which, frankly, feels like an unreasonable number of responsibilities for one human being. I mean, seriously. When we were kids, did anyone ever explain that adulthood would basically be a never-ending cycle of paperwork and trying to remember passwords? No, nobody told us that. Adults when we were younger made it seem like they had everything sorted. They had houses, cars. They walked around with important-looking folders. They paid bills and made phone calls without visibly dissolving into stress. So naturally, we assumed that at some point you just unlock a level, like in a video game. Level 18, you gain the ability to understand taxes. Level 25, you can assemble furniture without crying. Level 30, you stop Googling how long can leftovers stay in the fridge before it becomes a health risk. But no, it turns out everyone is just guessing. All the adults you looked up to growing up? Yeah, most of them were winging it too. They just looked confident while doing it, which honestly feels a bit like false advertising. Because nobody sat us down and said, hey, just so you know, being an adult in the future is going to involve a lot of emails. Also, you'll need 17 different passwords, and none of them can be the same, and every website will decide to lock you out for security reasons. Also, apparently groceries now cost roughly the same as a small yacht, which feels unnecessary. I went to buy ingredients for a sandwich the other day, and the cashier looked at me like I should consider financing options. A sandwich. I just wanted lunch. And that's before we even get to the other stuff, the bigger stuff, the kind of things that sit quietly in the background and make everything feel heavy. The pressure to succeed, the constant comparisons, the feeling that somehow you're supposed to have everything figured out by now. Career, money, relationships, mental health, physical health, hobbies, personal growth. Also, apparently you're supposed to stretch now. Nobody warned us about the stretching. But here's the thing I want you to remember. The world being difficult does not mean you're doing life wrong. Sometimes it just means the world is difficult. Existing right now takes a lot of energy. You're navigating an enormous amount of information and expectations every single day. And you're doing it while being a human being with feelings and worries and responsibilities. That's a lot. Of course you feel tired sometimes. Of course things feel overwhelming occasionally. But that doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're paying attention. And I know there's this idea floating around that adults should always be productive. Always improving, always achieving something. But honestly, some days success is just making it through. You got up, you existed, you handled whatever nonsense the day threw at you. Maybe you even ate something, and that counts. Actually, eating is surprisingly impressive sometimes. I've personally had days where dinner was just standing in the kitchen eating crackers and staring at the fridge like it might offer emotional support. It didn't. Fridges are notoriously bad at emotional support. They're good at leftovers, though, so there's that. But really, you don't have to have everything perfectly sorted. Nobody does. Even the people who look like they do. I guarantee you there is someone right now with a beautifully organized planner, a clean house, and a well-coordinated outfit who is also quietly wondering if they remembered to reply to that one important email 3 weeks ago. We're all just little clusters of stress walking around pretending we understand how taxes work. And somehow, that's okay. Because the truth is, life isn't meant to be solved. It's meant to be lived. Messy, imperfect, sometimes stressful, but also sometimes really, really good. Like the moment when you make someone laugh so hard they snort. Or when you crawl into bed after a long day and your blankets are exactly the right temperature. Or when a song comes on that you haven't heard in years and suddenly you're back in that memory again. Those moments matter. They're small, but they're real. And they're happening all the time if you let yourself notice them. Which is why days like today are important. Days where you pause, days where you breathe, days where you sit with someone who understands that the world is a bit ridiculous right now. Because it is ridiculous. We're expected to maintain mental stability while also being aware of every global problem instantly through a glowing rectangle we carry in our pockets. That's a lot for one brain. Human brains evolved to worry about things like, is there a tiger nearby? Not, what is the economic outlook for the next 30 years? So, if you sometimes feel overwhelmed, honestly, your brain is probably reacting exactly the way it was designed to. Which means the solution isn't to blame yourself. The solution is to give yourself a little kindness. Take breaks. Step away from the noise when you need to. Drink water. Go outside occasionally and remind yourself the sky still exists. Pet an animal if you have one available. Animals are excellent emotional support staff. They don't care about productivity. They care about snacks and affection. Honestly, we should all aspire to the emotional clarity of a golden retriever. Wake up, be happy, find a stick, celebrate, repeat. That's a life philosophy that I can get behind. But until society fully adopts the golden retriever model of existence, we do the next best thing. We take things one day at a time, one moment at a time. And we remember that struggling sometimes does not mean you're failing. It means that you're human. And you're living in a complicated world. But you're still here. You're still trying. You're still showing up, and that matters more than you realize. So right now, you're allowed to rest. You're allowed to put the weight down for a little while. You're allowed to sit here and laugh at how strange adulthood turned out to be. Because honestly, if someone had told younger us that adulthood involved worrying about back pain, grocery prices, and whether we remembered to cancel a free trial, we probably would have asked for a refund on the entire concept. But here we are, doing our best, and that's enough. It really is. So breathe. Let your shoulders relax. The world will still be there tomorrow. Right now, you're just a person sitting here, sharing a quiet moment. And that's a perfectly good place to be.